should have put a sign on that door in here.
I think we'll just leave the door open and they'll know that we'll.
Oh, no, but I walked to the front only to find out that I needed to come.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is this your first time coming to here to see
No,
it?
but last time we were in that room and it was dark, so I didn't think we were.
Gotcha.
Did you get a tree or
Open the door.
Both.
you bought both?
I got yeah, I
What is
did.
that? Is that?
That's a yeah, it's a Seestar.
Is that a 3 or?
No, that's different. He was asking about the mount, the ZWO mount, because I have a 55 millimeter refractor and I wanted something small for it. And I had an Explorer Scientific that was fine, but I was just so impressed with the AM5 that I bit the bullet and got a 3 also.
So I had to buy that.
The 100 refractor, the Spree 100.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, then my other mount died, and I might have to buy one of those 2Y and the other. I'm not gonna buy it if I can't say it correctly.
I kind of feel the same way, but if you do, you could, we could schedule you. Pat could put you on the schedule for springtime, and you can give a show and tell on it.
Well, there's another one that's easier to pronounce, but it's basically the same price.
Yeah, I've seen that one also.
But that one just started showing up in July. It's been around for at least a few months.
And that's not the only gear I've been seeing lately that's showing up on those channels. Chinese companies are kind of copying each other and making stuff less and less expensive.
So the shipping is like, they're charging like $100 for shipping or something, or $60. It's kind of crazy. So just that into the
They got rid of that de
It's
minimis
still a lot cheaper. Yep.
thing for tariffs.
Yeah, it makes it more expensive. All right, is everyone ready to get started?
No, give me 5 minutes.
You're always sitting in the back causing trouble, Greg Miller.
Just,
Good to see everybody tonight. I haven't been to a meeting in a couple months, so I hope everyone's been well. We're going to start with some announcements, and then we have a couple of short presentations, and I'd say we can all go out and do some observing tonight, but something.
What was better tomorrow?
I think that we looked at it. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be raining and this.
But we still have the picnic.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second with it. Well, with announcements. So I guess we'll start with just some general announcements. We have a picnic tomorrow that is on, and unless there's some sort of like deluge or something, I think it's still going to happen out at Kirby.
Ronnie's buying food.
Yes, this is all on Ronnie. So is he buying food tonight, or is he going to wait?
I don't.
Did he say anything?
Well, we discussed last night that we'll do the picnic regardless of the weather.
Okay.
So I guess he's buying food tonight.
Okay. So would be fun to see folks out there. There was a board meeting last night, and there was I think an interesting change to the bylaws that you all may have read about and heard about. So one of the things the board has talked about over the last 6 months or so is that the cycle of electing folks to the board for 1-year terms sometimes feels like when you're on the board, and especially when you first get on the board, it feels a little bit like you don't really know what you're supposed to do for maybe 4, 5, 6 months, and then finally you figure it out, and then pretty soon your term's over. And so the terms seemed a little bit short. And then also, the board could just have a full turnover. Like it could keep turning it over each year, and there would be sort of the loss of those things. And some folks on the board who've been on other nonprofit boards had talked about other models that other organizations have used to create more continuity. And so the new change, I think, does a couple of things. But first of all, terms are going to become 2-year terms for board officers. And Tom, jump in if I'm getting something not exactly right about this as I'm relaying it. The other thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be sort of a 2-year term that starts for half the board and then half the board. So there's always going to be somebody, half the board is always going to be someone who's been on the board for a year. So there's going to be more continuity that way. We think this change is going to create just a little bit more of that. And we looked at some other models, and I think this one kind of worked the most. And if it doesn't work, we can revisit it because we're a small organization, and if we want to change the rules again, we can say, wow, we tried that, it was an epic fail, let's go back to the way we used to do it. We can make those changes, but those changes were approved by the board, and so the next step is, yeah, and that is going to be elections. And so our elections are going to happen for everybody, for all the board positions, in
November with the results announced.
Yeah.
December.
So right around Thanksgiving, it's electronic. That was another change a number of years ago. Thank goodness we made that change because that was probably a good idea. And we will start those terms in January. So if any of you have been pining to be on the board, it is a yes.
I'll do it. I'm interested.
Great. So as that's coming around, we will be securing nominations.
I've been mayor of a small city.
There you go.
President of the temple.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I've had some experience in volunteer boards.
Okay. So I don't know that we're doing the nominations yet, but that process will be out there, and then you just kind of, we'll have an electronic way for that to go.
I'll send out notes about that
Yep.
for the next week or two or three. The new bylaws I'm gonna get posted on the website tomorrow. And I'll send a note out. Where they are.
Yep.
I think we need a new logo.
That could be your stump speech. Logo.
With the AI.
Pat, you want to mention anything about our things with the equipment? Because all of you probably should have seen, if you check your email, that Pat has been very hard at work with his team. And Pat personally has been very hard at work kind of soliciting more donations. They keep showing up. You walk into the UAC and it's like,
I'm not soliciting.
I know.
They're just showing up.
They keep showing up, exactly. We're inundated with gear.
We've sold about $1,800 so far of equipment. We sold the 16-inch, yeah, 16, so 8-inch, Seestar, 8-inch, needs a hand control that works. And then we also sold an old orange tube C8. It's cosmetically challenged. We sold the MK-67, so 15 by 63 binoculars, 7 by 35 binoculars, 80 millimeter ETX. So I think we've got $1,800 that's been sold, and we have a really nice $2,000 Celestron 50th anniversary telescope.
It's carbon fiber.
All the bells and whistles.
If you wanted to get into astrophotography, this is a wonderful telescope for it.
Well, we have a lot of smaller stuff, but we have eyepieces, a lot of eyepieces. That's some new eyepieces just came in and I haven't get on the inventory. Colored filters, lots of colored filters. The next stage is gonna be going through our mirrors and our glass. We have a lot of glass, and we have a lot of just miscellaneous stuff. We've got some lost landing parts and Celestron parts and things that people would want on. If not, we'll put them up on cloudy nights. And I've got one of the administrators at Cloudy Nights, Steve, is gonna work with us.
Awesome.
The LAS being able to sell it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and individuals are supposed to be the ones selling, not groups without permission, but they will, if you ask nicely.
yeah, they don't like third-party sales because they can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of fraud in there, so. Well, the list is constantly updated as I take things off, automatically shows up. So it's just, it's in the email that I sent everybody. I'm gonna send out another one, that's gonna have, a little updated with it, so people can see what is sold. But the good stuff's going quick.
Yep.
The only way to need a smaller telescope, a manually controlled telescope, like 4.5 inch on an equatorial mount. And we have a few of those, and we can certainly teach people how to use things. In the past, we just kind of gave it to them. We'd like to teach people how to use it, because once you learn how to use a basic equatorial mount, you can play all night with it. You can look at Saturn or Jupiter and the moon all night long, just a little bit of time. But not very intuitive learning how to use it. next Friday event at the EP Park, I think. I went by there tonight and the place was completely full with about 10,000 people.
Wow.
So I need to see if there's
Yep.
something going on
What's,
next Friday.
what'd you say?
The BMX.
BMX,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah, so we do need to, right,
There was a concert there. I heard country music going. They also had kids doing cross country. Running through, almost ran over 15 little bitty kids.
I'm glad you didn't,
Running across the
They
road.
made a mess.
yeah.
So I'm gonna double check with him and make sure that it's not overwhelmed next week.
Okay,
So, but we'll be setting up at 6:30, 7 o'clock. If it's good, they'll go. If it's not a go, I'll let
In
it.
the main parking lot or in the?
Main parking lot and.
grass in the middle,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've got bathrooms and stuff.
What we won't have is power, so if you're thinking about like bringing something that needs power, think about bringing your portable, you know.
Yeah, most of us have batteries anyway.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't know anybody that uses extension cords
Yep.
anymore.
For folks online, I don't know if they could all hear everything that was being said, but it was,
They really can't hear Pat.
so what Pat was talking about is, you know, our telescope sale, which is, you can check your email, there's a list of the current things that are for sale for members, some really nice accessories and telescopes still left. And next week, Friday, is going to be our star party, weather permitting. So, you know, don't show up having not checked, you know, the Facebook page or the website or your email.
We'll put the telescope stuff up on the Facebook page sometime next week.
Yeah,
I want to give all the members a week to look at their emails and see if there's something they want. Then we'll go put it up on Facebook and let our people on our Facebook page.
yeah. And just a little preview of a conversation that Pat and I have had off and on over the last few months is probably in the springtime, well, after January 1st, whatever that period, winter, spring, but probably in the winter time when we're maybe too clouded out or cold. It might be fun to have a swap meet because there's probably lots of, you know, you probably, if you're like me, you have like a couple boxes of like bits and pieces of stuff that you don't necessarily need, or it might be to old gear or whatever, and that may be just exactly what somebody else needs, or you may just have some, you know, some things you want to swap around. So it would be sort of a free thing where you don't leave anything at the UAC. The goal is not to collect more stuff. Definitely not that. But the idea, oh hey, that's my wife, by the way, if you're wondering. This is Joanna. But the idea is basically that we can sort of swap things with each other and do it that way. All right, so any other announcements before I go to Dr. Tom Bibb for announcements? Anything else? No, Ronnie's not here for. And if folks online, there's a chat. So if you want to put a question in chat.
They've been chatting.
Oh, okay. Anything we should all hear about?
Ronnie just got home, so he's not coming.
Okay. Okay. Well, hi, Ronnie. I hope you're watching. You were missed as always. And Ronnie, if you want to put anything into chat for us to share here with our group, just put it in chat and we'll make sure. So, Dr. Tom, you want to talk about our big announcement? Because I haven't shared it widely with members, I don't think.
Yeah, sure.
And then
Do I need to stand here? Can I?
probably because the folks at home will see you that way.
I'll even give you a little microphone.
Oh, or just, oh yeah, you got two of them.
I
All right.
get two.
So I need to stick it on here somewhere. Does that sound okay? Check, check, check. Okay, so this is a picture of our new library telescope. And I don't know if you all are familiar, but in 2008, a guy named Mark Strobridge in New Hampshire came up with the idea of library telescopes. And he had been inspired by a Robert Frost poem called The Star Splitter, in which the main character in that actually burned his house down to get the insurance money to buy a telescope for the town so everybody could use it. So Mark saw that and decided he thought he could get people interested in astronomy and doing some STEM type things by getting telescopes in the library that anybody could check out like a book. So he started that. He started that in 2008. So in May of 2018, the Louisville Astronomical Society got our first couple of scopes. And at first, we actually just worked with Louisville Free Public Library, and we started with just one branch out at Southwest, and then we progressed to 4 branches. And then we started in Southern Indiana. We've got New Albany, we've got Jeff, we've got Clarksville. We have some now in Crawford County. We're going to be in Paoli in a couple of months. And it's been working well enough that the library people most at Louisville started looking at their numbers and saw that they had more holds than they expected. And so once you start getting a lot of holds versus how many people are checking things out, then you start to say, well, maybe we need some more of these. So they approached us and decided that they wanted to get a grant and get some more telescopes. So a lady named Margaret Phillips, who's their grant writer, got with Genentech, and they got a grant that just came through, and now they're going to buy 19 telescopes and 19 binocular kits. And, this one's going to be around 350. So I'll tell you everything about it. So what has happened when we first started, Orion is where we got the scopes from, and we tried to get a scope that was pretty much hardened against people screwing it up and taking things off of it. And Orion built there's a 4.5 inch, and it was a Star Blast, so it's a little reflector like Daub that sits on a tabletop. They found it weighs about 11 pounds. You can pick it up, you belt it into your car for transport, and it's worked very well. So the problem was, of course, Orion went out of business. So I belong to a task force that actually has a bunch of people that do this all across the nation. And so they started working with High Point Scientific to get a new scope. So that's what this is. And it's basically what I used to do was I'd get a scope from Orion, and it'd take me 3 or 4 days to take the mirror out, put different screws on it to hold it, take the regular single focal eyepiece out and put a zoom lens in and do a bunch of other things to kind of harden it up, put a little bag on it that had a book and all that stuff. Well, all that stuff that I used to do for these scopes to repair them now is going to be done by Explore Scientific. So the whole idea is that this is going to be, you pay them the $350 and you get everything ready to go out of the box. So that's what kind of we've been waiting for to get the new scopes, since the old ones you can't get anymore. So this is supposed to hopefully in the next month, hopefully, be available. And then at that point, then the Louisville Library is going to buy 19 of these things to distribute throughout some more branches. So the big thing for us as the sponsor, or one of the sponsors, is that we're going to need to be able to support these and have what we call mentors at each one of the libraries. In the past, I've done all the maintenance on them just because we had about 11 scopes out. But now we're going to double that, and so we're going to need people. So I think Steve and I talked that we're going to start like a section of library telescope people, so everybody's kind of versed with how the scopes work, what's the things that go wrong with them, how to fix them, and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the big news. The binocular program is less maintenance. You don't really have to worry about that, but you'll get a little kit with a binocular in it and a couple of guides, and then we're kind of working with the Louisville Audubon Society as well to put that out and give some people that want to do bird watching with the binoculars as well too, kind of get them involved too. So we'll need to be kind of supporting both of those. But of course, like I say, the maintenance on the binoculars is not going to be anything like it is for the telescopes.
Unless they get dropped.
Yeah, yes ma'am.
When people check out either a telescope or binoculars, are they gonna also receive like a how to get started?
Well, here's the neat thing. In the past, we'd put little manuals and stuff with them, but now these are going to have barcodes or the little QR code on it that will take them to the library telescope site, which will have videos set up, a little manual, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we have the option, because there's going to be a little backpack, that's what this is, kind of on the back of it, that we can put anything in there. In the past, we've put stickers on it that link to our website, but we can, if somebody comes up with something that's relatively inexpensive that we can kind of stick in there. It also comes with a little headlight, a little red light, so you can work at night with them as well, too.
What, is that a screen, like a little, that blue screen?
No, the blue thing, it just tells your magnification.
Okay, but that's not.
No, it's a sticker.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
It's a sticker.
So there's no LCD or anything?
No.
LED.
We used to have a moon sticker on it and stuff like that, but people didn't really use it, so we've kind of eliminated that. And we think it's going to be better just to be able to go to the website and get the information for that. And then, of course, we always, when we deliver these to a library, we go out and train the staff, and mostly on just how to bring it in and bring it back and make sure things aren't missing, that kind of stuff. And then people have problems with the red dot sight is the really only training thing. People can't get really used to. But then, of course, we'll have some star parties and things like that to get the community involved as well, too.
I'm hoping we get the chance to learn how to use them out of the box.
Well, I think, isn't
So
that,
we
that's
can
part of
teach
what
other
you're
people.
suggesting, though, that we need a team, like we have an equipment team, we have an observatory team, we need a library telescope team, and Tom will, I don't necessarily know how to, teach people how to use something like that, but Tom's going to teach me, or whomever else is on the team, so we'll sort of have a train the trainer thing, and we'll have a team that's ready to go, and many hands makes for lighter lifting. This is such a cool thing for the community. If you think about, the library system is such a leveler for our community because it creates access. No matter where you live, there's a library that's in your neighborhood. And having access to being able to check out a telescope for a couple of weeks and bring it home, and with your family, it brings families together and communities together as they sort of learn how to do things. And I think, from our, Tom and I went to meet with the library folks, and the fact that they wanted us as a partner, I think, was one of the reasons the application got funded, is because the funder liked the fact that there was this partnership with two nonprofits, the library system and LAS. And one little aside that's, I think, is nice is that we are also funded through the grant. LAS is funded to do 4 star parties, and we'll get paid for doing those. The LAS will get paid. So there'll be a stipend to LAS. So it brings in an additional $1,200 over the course of the year. And I would imagine that if the grant is really successful, it's a springboard for additional grants. That's usually the way it works. If you can get a grant and then show that you're a good steward of the money and that the demand that you're trying to meet is still out there, you can either go after different grants using that as evidence, or the funder may just say, hey, next cycle you can double your ask or triple your ask, things like that. It's pretty exciting.
Yes. Any other questions?
Why do you have the notes?
Why do I have the notes? In case you asked me something I didn't know. Do you know I like the first 4 places: southwest, northeast, south central, and the main
These aren't
library.
go-to, and you
No,
Totally, everything's
this
manual.
is manual.
excellent.
It's like the first scope you
Yeah,
had. And It's
yeah.
great for learning the night
Show
sky.
somebody how to look at Saturn, and you made a comment.
Thank you.
Which libraries in Indiana do we have?
We have New Albany, then there's one in Jeffersonville, and then there's one in Clarksville, and then Crawford County has one.
Where's it at? Is that over in Corydon?
No, farther out by Kirby.
Oh, okay.
Right there, it's Crawford County. And then there's a gentleman named Ricky King that is, he's doing a couple with Paoli up around in that area. He's going to get a couple scopes when they come out too.
We've had a request from some of our people on our Facebook page that live in Corydon, is if we could get one in that library out there.
The thing it's going to be, they're going to make supposedly 400 of these things at once, and I'm not sure how quick they're going to get swooped up. So if there's somebody that's really interested, we need to get with them, and when this thing goes up, to make sure the order gets in.
And we've got one at the UAC ready to be converted.
Okay.
We
Yeah, we can get that out.
We've got the eyepiece and everything there, and I think we still need to have that.
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, thank you for leading on this important part of our outreach. This is very cool. All right, so we're going to pivot. I have 2 presentations to give today. They're not actually related to each other in any meaningful way, but they're sort of 2 things that are short, so I thought we'd put them together. The first thing I'm going to talk about is AstroCon, which I attended in Bryce Canyon at the end of June. And I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of what AstroCon is and what I learned from it, and a little bit, about the future of it. There were 3 of us from LAS, as far as I could tell. Bill was there. It's really where we got to know each other better. We did a lot of observing together, did a lot of workshops together. It was fun. And when there's a new member, her name's Nadia, and Malayas, and she was out there as well, so we got to meet her. So it was good to have some folks from Louisville. I can't remember that there was somebody from LAS who had moved to Chicago a long time ago. And he remembered Carl, he remembered Pat.
Mike White.
That's it.
He was the president when the first time I was vice president.
Okay, and he had talked about being part of the group that had built some of the structures at Kirby and had some early history. So it was good. That's the kind of thing that happens, at these conventions. You just meet folks where you got 6 degrees of separation. So he says hello to LAS. Let's see. Nope, that's the wrong one. Uh-oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Most assuredly.
Control Z.
No, I like hit the worst possible button. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now we're back. We're attached.
No, we're not.
Okay,
I don't see you.
I know. Let's see what happens if I can get this back. Come on.
Just get a white, there's a whiteboard.
I could. I'd be like, I'm in the classroom again, as I was earlier today.
Do we have any IT nerds in the house?
Trip.
Something else that controls it.
What do you think? Because I've got just
I don't
color
think it's
bars.
an undo, I think it's
Yeah, let me,
Some catastrophic failure.
let me do the go back to piece there. Let's see. Now it's all off.
Control Alt Delete, see what happens.
Yeah, the whole computer's off or something. Now
Did
it's
we trip over something? Or not?
now it's back. I think I might. Yeah, it is. It is. I may try to take this out and then put it back in.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Is the computer working or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is. Okay. And then-
That's a good sound.
yeah.
Come on.
This has probably messed everything up for people at home too. And then it's really kind of like it's frozen.
What did you do last time, though?
Well, like I hit a button that made it actually so the screen comes off, and it won't run PowerPoint that way, but PowerPoint was running. So I have done something to Windows. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do a reboot.
Go ahead.
I think it's gonna be yeah.
When in doubt,
Yeah.
In doubt.
Control Alt Delete.
Okay. Nope, it's not doing that.
You want to reboot without this thing in?
Yeah, causing the issue. Shut down your PC, yes, shut this down. Okay, yeah. That little ring is bright.
Especially if the computer screen is dark.
Exactly right.
Thunderbolt. That's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. It's been hot enough.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it was so hot.
I
this year.
know.
I usually kayak or paddleboard or find some other day. About a 619-hour drive. This year, I mean, it was just last night session, but each time it's handshake. It was a couple of years ago. So later, I didn't.
There we go.
One of the coaches jumped out and went, God, this is worse. This starts at 80, like 94. I did one night, stack of data that I had. I paddleboard, so I decided I was nights I've tried, it failed, 10 of them, to really capture it, so I had to go back and
There was a movie
nobody
called
else out there when I got there. Few people showed up, so I
Cartoon
Okay.
about this dog
pretty nice.
and,
Let's give it a try. See what happens. That's all. Okay, and that's
Still have just color bars over here.
weird. It's like frozen,
Still not doing anything.
right?
Kid, you really hate PowerPoint. I ran into a PowerPoint issue yesterday.
Did you? Okay. Well, now well, it's sort of moving. Okay, good for a second. It's really weird how it's doing that. Maybe I should go to the duplicate first. Maybe it's just having trouble handshaking or whatever.
Can't write the phone?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on duplicate. That's right. Maybe I should have just let it boot up all the way and I jumped the gun on the booting or something. I don't know. Okay. And it's not on your screen yet, right?
No, I just have color bars right now. Nor is it on the projector. Projector's gonna go on standby mode in 3 minutes.
Okay. Shucks. Here we go. This is screen only. This is screen only. There we go. This is what we did last time. And then once it was working here, I went to duplicate, and then it seemed to work. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. The guy who money, he's already got it.
You got 2 minutes.
I know, it's
Turn it off in 2 minutes.
All right.
Starting with the same wire, it shouldn't make any difference.
I can sit in the back.
No.
I can sit in the back and just J-stroke. And he just like, keep it straight.
Presentation is not
It's almost like a flat enough top. And you can't kick it pretty straight.
And so for
This is something I wouldn't Oh, you gotta have that, you just gotta.
It's one of those where it's like, you kind of have a dedicated place to work on.
Being at a gig, you can't catch
That's exactly what it's like.
Monitors aren't working.
I know. Yeah.
built one for, way more complicated.
And there's no way to put this presentation into your computer, is there? Use that?
I don't think so, I'm running two different things
Yeah,
right now.
okay.
We got something.
We did?
It got dark, that's a,
No, I think it turned itself off, didn't it? Timed out.
I can still see the image here, I can see it.
How many PhDs does it take to get it?
Right. Well,
But they have to want to use it.
yeah.
Steve, you're still not in the door?
Huh?
Are you still having trouble with it?
Yeah. What my computer's doing, it's just going completely black, and then it's flickering, then this program comes back, and then it goes completely black again. And I turned it off and turned it on, and it's continuing to do that. So
Which button did you have?
the problematic button was the one that caused the screen to separate from the computer. It was like a detach button, which it's not detached anymore.
Next version, they need to make that one red.
They do need to make it red, yes. I will make that recommendation and have y'all sign that particular request for Windows 12. All right, we're going to do this a little differently. We are going to do this as a conversation, less than a presentation. So imagine that it's 1974, and we're all gathered in a space, and
Overhead projector.
we're having the overhead projector, right, exactly. All right, let's take this out so I can at least see my slides. Sorry for folks at home. Well, they can't even hear me, can they?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Oh, sorry, folks at home. This is the growing pains of going from old school to
That's just the.
The
yeah.
projector timed out, I just turned it back on, but
Yeah.
there's no image there yet.
Okay. So, anywho,
Giving up?
I'm giving up on sharing screen and doing it that way, but I will talk about the topics I wish to talk about. Okay. So AstroCon was the annual convention of the Astronomy League. How many of you all are Astronomy League members? I wanted to see if there was a test. It was like a test. To see if everybody's hand should be up because you all are. It's included in your LAS membership that you're members of the Astronomy League. And structurally, I don't know if you all understand clearly how it all functions, but the Astronomy League is kind of an umbrella for all of the societies and clubs and the star clubs all over the country. So it's kind of like the mothership, if you want to continue the metaphor. And we are super lucky in LAS that the president of the Astronomical League is a member of the LAS, and that's Chuck Allen. And so Chuck's job is not to put on the convention. There's a whole committee that does that. And the committee that did it is based on the astronomy club closest to where it was. So we traveled to Bryce Canyon. We got there different ways. Phil flew and drive.
4 days in Vegas, and then I drove to Bryce Canyon.
Yeah, when he ran out of money in Vegas, he went to... Nadia did the same thing. I took my camper. I took 2.5 weeks to get there and 2.5 weeks back. So it was I made it sort of a summer trip. It is in different places every year, the Astronomy League. So I didn't know what to expect. Never been. Had the program. I made the reservation as soon as it was made available because I thought that sounded awesome to go out west and be in really dark skies and do this. So the way it's structured is they have it in different cities, and it's programming during the daytime. Have any of you ever been to an Astronomical League convention? Okay, so this is a little bit of like just me communicating what it's like to go. It's like any other professional convention in the sense that you register for it, you get programmed for it, there's workshops. Some of the workshops are at the same time, but most of them there's just one workshop going on, so you can go to almost everything. And I would say that if you look at the programming for the workshops, there's an almost, it's a very intentioned program that's about a third science. So if you're interested in sort of cosmology, exoplanets, comets, findings on the moon, like whatever it is that you're interested in, it's probably going to be covered in some sort of workshop by an expert. And they went out and got just amazing folks to present. on these various topics. So we had a presentation on sort of cosmology from the Big Bang to now in 2 hours, which was presented by just a master teacher. She was amazing, very entertaining, great sense of humor. We had another presentation on variable stars. I think maybe the highlight in terms of the sciencey part for me was the young astronomers. And they gave out awards. This is a very intentional part of the Astronomical League. There are amazing kids, and I'll say kids because these are like 10th and 11th graders out there that are doing real deal science. So one that won an award has not only discovered several exoplanets, like he discovered them, like he found them, but he's done a lot of work on the conformation. And he's done almost everything, all of his work, with a unistellar. So it's like a smart telescope. It's better than the Seestar, which we'll talk about in a while in terms of what it can see and what it can do. But it's all sort of, it's a great tool for that. And he presented not only finding the exoplanets, but he's come up with sort of a strategy of looking at how the exoplanets, like in terms of what they're made of. You can tell by the way it dips in terms of the star brightness, the size of them, and then there's even some way to tell what's in the atmosphere. Science was beyond me. The fact that there was this poised 11th grader up there kind of teaching a room of 450 people like us.
What did he have access to?
A unistellar, which is about a $2,500, $3,000 smart telescope. That company's really interesting. Did any of you own a unistellar? Like, one of the cool things that the company has done is they baked science into what they do. And so when you use their electronic telescope and you're using their software, it basically, if you say yes to a bunch of questions, it sends the data to a central place that can be processed and captured and contribute to the science you're doing. So it's a really like smart idea to really not just feed the interest in the hobby, but also generate some real science out of it. So I thought the science talks were just, they were terrific, they were nicely spaced, none of them were like over my head, they kind of knew their audience. And I'm kind of at the ground level on a lot of this stuff, and I just learned a lot from that. So that's about a third of it. About another third of the workshops, I would say, had to do with sort of visual and astrophotography. So visual astronomy and astrophotography, and sort of how to get the most out of what you got. So how to use your gear, how to use certain kinds of software. It was really practical and applied as opposed to hypothetical. So there were some presentations on different kinds of telescopes and some new gear that was coming out. Some of it had sort of a commercial feel to it, so some of the vendors were doing presentations. It was kind of like, okay, I know you want us to rush the stage and buy all this stuff from you. But they were providing really good information. And then another third of it was, it's kind of like miscellaneous, I guess, if I was going to describe it. But we had a presentation by our own Chuck Allen that I was like, it was early in the morning. I didn't know that I'd be that interested in it. But I knew it was Chuck, and Chuck could read the phone book and make it interesting. And he did exactly that because the presentation was on logging observations. Like, does that sound like the kind of thing you'd rush? I don't know. For me, it sounded like logging. Okay. It was amazing. Like, Chuck Allen has a collection of identical books that were empty at one point. They're all about this wide, and they're all brown, and they're all these beautiful leather-bound books. And he's got like maybe hundreds of them. And they go back to when he was a kid, and he was doing his observations. And he showed it's all handwritten. And every time he's in the field, and he's looking at the night sky, he's making notes. And he talked about what he's learned and what he could share and what that experience was like. And it wasn't just impressive that somebody had that level of detail in a hobby that requires, I guess, a level of detail, but that he had this sort of record of his life, and he could like open up and it's like, this was a time that there was an eclipse. This is a time that there was a comet. This is a time that I saw this for the first time, and it was just his storytelling ability is remarkable. So the daytime programming was amazing. Bill, do you want to add anything from your perspective on that?
I mean, I thought they had great speakers, as you said, learned a lot. Very broad, diverse range.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll go again.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So that was the daytime, and this was like a 4-day convention. Also during the day, this was fun too, is they have a vendor center, like a vendor area. And so ZWO was there, and they had a whole crew from ZWO. Stellar View was there. Sky and Telescope was there. Spencer Camera, that does a lot of, like, they sell cameras and retrofit cameras for Astro. They were there. What were some of the, Explore Scientific was there.
That couple that had the little.
Oh, yeah, the,
toy thing.
yeah,
Their names.
there's a couple that lives in New Mexico, and they've retired there, and they've converted their whatever 100-acre property in Bortle One Skies to something called like the Lost Ranch. And you could go there, and it's Bortle One, and you could stay there, and you can use their telescopes, you can bring your own, you can bring a camper. It's really affordable. And so there were just lots of people to meet, lots of vendors to look at new stuff coming out and ask questions about your old stuff. I got a ton of help from ZWO. And I've got this guy's number. He's like the head of tech support for ZWO. And I just blowing up his email all the time. And he actually helped me with a camera issue I've had and got it fixed for nothing, which was really nice.
What was his name?
Beaner Franks.
That's right, Beaner Frank. No way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. I don't think Beaner was his God-given name, but you gotta appreciate his sense of humor. Yeah, great guy. So I think the other part of the convention that was just so meaningful and impactful is what happened after hours. And so they had an area set aside for astrophotography that was just outside the park overlooking Bryce Canyon. And the hoodoos are in there. You could sort of see all that stuff. It was an area where if you want to do astrophotography, you could go there, you could set up. You could only leave at the top of every hour. I was like, that's a great idea. We never thought of that. But if you imagine everybody coming in and leaving at the same time, it's just the car lights and whatever. But if you know, like 3 minutes to the hour, 3 minutes after the hour, I'm not going to be imaging, because people are going to be coming or going. It made it much more pleasant. They also had a lot of folks at this Rainbow Point, which is way into the park. It's quite the drive at night.
As far as you can go.
As far as you can go into the park to the very end. Bill and I went to an overlook of Bryce Canyon that we kind of just found, and we just kept going back there. Because there's this little alcove that they gave nature talks during the day, and the alcove just kind of went out there. There's the whole canyon. There's just this alcove, and then it's the southeast sky, just right there. It could not have been better. And the thing about being in Bortle One skies, Bortle One, maybe Bortle Two, but mostly Bortle One skies that I probably had never really appreciated is just what you can see with your own eyes. So you can see Andromeda in the sky. It takes a bit. Your eyes have to be acclimated, but you can see Andromeda.
In June, you can see it?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Late,
Right there.
but late at night. Later.
Later. Like what time do you see it about? At midnight?
Yeah.
I don't think of midnight as late when you're stargazing. And then the other thing that I'll never forget is it's the first time I've ever really looked at the Milky Way in really dark skies, and you could see the structure in the Milky Way. It's not just the cloud. You can see the dark rivulets in the Milky Way. So it's if you have a chance, it makes a big difference. And doing astrophotography, I'm still processing my images. I have a ton to do image-wise in terms of getting those done, but I've got a lot of data to still process. But 5 hours of imaging at Bryce Canyon is equivalent to 72 hours of imaging in integrated time here in Louisville, because the dark skies just give you so much better signals to noise ratio. So it's really kind of worth it.
Sometimes when it's really dark, there's so many stars, it's hard to pick out the ones you really want to image.
Polar aligning is not easy, right? We had that problem with, got the compass out. We're like,
No idea
which one is it? They all look amazing. So, constellations are not easy to see because of all that as well. It's just a different way of looking at the night sky.
Just think that up until 100 or so years ago, everybody had that sky all the time.
I know. It's hard to imagine that we've lost that, and it was nice to kind of reconnect to it.
Does the Milky Way cast your shadow there? Is it bright enough to cast
I don't
your shadow?
know. I don't think I would have no.
'Cause I've seen that several places.
Where did-
View in the White Mountains, east of the Sierras. I go up there sometimes. The Milky Way's bright enough to cast your shadow.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
seen it in Borneo where it would do that, in South America where it would do that.
Amazing.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can literally can't see your hand in front of your face. It's that dark.
That's a different kind of dark. So I guess maybe
You gotta
there's
put your hand up against
the star field.
Way to see your hand.
Wow.
The one negative while we were there is there were forest fires
Yes.
within 10 miles.
Yes.
of it.
Yes.
So we did have some smoke to deal with. But
Yeah.
It didn't turn out to ruin anything.
No, like it seemed like each night, even when we started, it was like you couldn't see any stars or couldn't see much but the brightest because the smoke was there. You know, Bill and I were just like kicking back and talking, and then like, well, look, the stars are here. Like it just magically sort of wind shifted, and there we were. So it worked. So the exciting news, I really want to encourage you to go to an AstroCon if you can. And next year, it's in Cincinnati.
Really?
Yep. So I don't know what that means for the club in terms of whether we want to connect with Cincinnati, you know, their star club. The way it worked in Bryce Canyon is that the Salt Lake City Astronomical Society was really the lead organization. There's another small one that's about central Utah that has, you know, a few members, but Salt Lake City has 300, 400 members. They're a large club, maybe even more. They're a large established club. And Cincinnati is, that club is very established as well. Now, it's quite the difference to think about a star party and, you know, a star convention in Cincinnati, because obviously the programming is going to be just great, right? It's going to be the same. They're going to have great speakers.
The dark side has two dark sites. One's in Adams County.
Which direction is that from Cincinnati?
It's really good.
Is
And
that-
the other one is around Brookville, Kentucky,
Okay.
and that's also quite dark.
So that'll probably be how it goes for the evening, is there'll be
Yeah,
sort of a
those are-
migration.
Each of those are an hour east of
Okay.
Cincinnati, and then Ohio also has a dark sky site at Athens, a dark sky park. It's a national.
And how far is that from Cincinnati, would you guess?
So they do have, but that's several hours away. I would imagine it'll be at Adams County.
Okay. So that's probably how it'll work, right? They'll I don't know if there's gonna be shuttles or how that, you know, folks are gonna carpool or folks are just gonna go and bring their gear. But that should be part of it as well.
They'll probably have a program at the observatory too.
I think that's something that was mentioned as well. So I don't know the dates yet, and I don't know that it's published yet. As I recall, this convention, the tickets went on sale in the fall before the summer. So I will make sure our members know. I'll blast something out if I hear. Yeah, Pat?
They've got something up already for you where you can sign up to get notified when registration opens.
That is new. That's great.
It's gonna be in the fall.
Is that to go, you go to astrocom.com or what's the?
I saw it on the Cincinnati site.
Okay.
I'm sure it's on the Astronomical League. It'll be on their site as well.
We'll go ahead and distribute to membership about that because I don't want anyone to miss it. They do cap it, and so there are, I think one of our members, Nadia, she was kind of on a wait list essentially, that she's kind of got like, yes, you can go, there's a slot, but they have a capacity, so I don't want anyone to miss it for that.
It'll probably be in their reflector too, won't it?
Yeah, should be in there as well. And it was affordable. I didn't mention that piece, but I think registration was $150.
I think it's 100.
Like, you know, for all,
That's great.
you know, for all that programming. You know, now accommodations, you got to figure that out and how that's going to work. But there's going to be a convention hotel, and it's kind of fun to, you know, even though convention hotels tend to be a little bit more. They've negotiated a really good rate for the hotel in Bryce Canyon. So, any questions or thoughts about that?
Did you go on the horseback ride through the canyon?
I did not.
I did that. It's really worth the trip.
Yeah,
It's really worth it.
the whole thing's amazing. It's just an amazing national park, and it's close to lots of other national parks and state parks that are just an incredible part of the country.
Canyon's close to
Yeah, so
Grand Canyon's actually.
I don't know. I might just next summer drive back to Bryce again. It was just that kind of experience.
Make sure you ride the horses.
I'll ride the horses. Yeah.
Or mules, sometimes you get mules.
So the next thing, okay, this is the next presentation I'm going to do is about the Seestar, and I brought my Seestar here. And how many of you have a smart telescope? All right, please jump in and add about your experiences. I got this Seestar. I purchased it before they were available, so I was on that waiting list. So I was one of those like get it for $399 people, and I just had to wait like 9 months for it to be ready. And my goal in getting the Seestar, because I already had quite an investment in an astrophotography rig, but I tell you, I was getting real tired of bringing that my big rig out to elementary schools for outreach. It was just a lot to carry, and or bringing even to some of the star parties we were doing. It just was a lot, and so I was really looking for a. Talk on it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this.
The S50 is now 575.
Thank.
So anybody wants to have it.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for getting that.
Oh, it's 550 on High Point? I think.
Oh, really?
I think. They just went up. They thought it was 550.
Yeah, well, and the S30 is 399.
Huh. Windows does not recognize your USB drive. This is just. All right. So then I'm going to have even less of a detailed conversation about this. This is a refracting telescope, and it doesn't look like a telescope in a lot of ways. And when I bring it out, to outreach events, folks are like surprised by it. It's turned on right now, actually. So this is the telescope right here, and it's on an Altaz, and it is controlled through an app. So you can kind of, if you're, you can move it around, so you can point it at things, but when you set it up, essentially, you kind of just put it level it out, and you turn it on, and you just kind of wait a second, and I turned off the talking thing. I don't like it talks to you, and I don't like that it talks to you. It kind of ruins my zen if I'm in a pretty place. But but you just turn it on, and then what it does is it says, what do you want to look at? And I was like, well, I'd like to look at M101. I'd like to see what that looks like tonight. It says, okay. So it kind of knows sort of where it's oriented from an internal compass, and kind of raises up, takes a picture of where it thinks M101 is, and compares that picture to an internal database. It's like, oh, not there. It's got moves it a little bit here, moves it a little bit there, until it gets it centered. And once it gets centered, it goes through sort of a calibration phase for tracking. And then you're kind of off to the races. And it takes a 10-second picture, followed by a 10-second picture, followed by a 10-second. So it's just stacking 10-second pictures. I think the software updates allow it now to do 30-second pictures, but I've not had
30 and 60.
up to 60. Okay.
That's kind of what the Vera Rubin telescope is going to do.
Oh, they spent too much then, didn't they? Because this is a lot less expensive than the.
It's 8 foot.
I know.
8 foot camera.
I know. It's crazy. And so, it depends on the object, but let's say, for example, dumbbell. Within about 2 minutes of those 10-second exposures, you can see clear color coming in from the dumbbell. You can see the reds and the blues. You see the outline. You see the shape. It's already dumbbell in 2 minutes. At about 10 minutes, it's really definitive. It looks really great. It's kind of like you get those reactions, okay? And so you can continue to go and take more and more data and see it gets better and better. There's a cap to it. So I haven't found that longer than about 45 minutes does much for your image. It gets kind of where it's going to go. At any point, you can hit a button, and it basically takes what you're looking at and sort of renders a high-resolution raw photo of it. As it's stacking, the image looks better and better, but it's also saving each individual picture. And that's cool if you're somebody who wants total control of your image processing. You can basically go home, plug it into to your computer. It's got a USB-C right here. It's got an internal hard drive. You plug it into your computer, and it looks like a hard drive to your computer, and you basically pull out all of these 10-second images that are in RAW, and you can stack them in whatever your favorite stacking program is, whether it's PixInsight or Deep Sky Imager, or Deep Sky Stacker, or whichever it is, and then do all the processing yourself. Processed images look better when you process them than it does when it processes. But the point, I think, of this telescope is it is such a terrific outreach telescope. It ships to you. I feel like I'm doing a commercial. um, ships to you in this handy dandy box. So the whole thing fits in here with a tripod. I added the Skywatcher tripod. It's more substantial than what they give you. Plus, the one they give you keeps the thing about this high off the ground, which when you bring it to a star party, it's just like, it didn't occur to me when I bought it, but it is a peril for children running around at a star party, for them and for the telescope. So I wanted it off the ground a little bit. And it ships with a couple of things that come with it. I purchased, it comes with a solar filter. And I purchased a little 3D printed thing from a fellow online. And this allows me to kind of connect it like so. And then basically puts the image of the sun right there in the thing, and then it's pointing at the sun, but it'll also find the sun. I have not had a great luck with it finding the sun. It takes, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, and then when you're trying to find the sun and you're like, you know, this is the best like $12 ever spent. But it does come with a solar filter. This telescope right here, this very one, was connected to WDRB's feed in Scottsburg, Indiana, for the 24 eclipse. And this is what they broadcast with their whole eclipse coverage with this telescope, which was terrifying because I had no idea if it was going to work, like what was going to happen when the sun went away. Like, was it going to work? Was it going to be a disaster? There's no way to practice. You know, I went to WDRB with it, and we pointed at the sun with the filter on. But, you know, at some point, I had to go like, okay, we're in totality, and I popped the filter off, and it just kind of went, boom, there it was. So it worked for WDRB and the 400,000 people who were watching it online. So, and LAS had a big presence there. John Turek and Ronnie Yates were sort of the stars there because they had spectacular imaging through a refracting telescope. But this was the regular feed for it.
I found that with the sun, mine is much more sensitive to leveling. If you're going to do the sun, because there are no stars, so it can't
Yep.
do light solving.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got nothing else to go on. You gotta make sure there's no metal to affect the compass.
Good advice.
I found that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the leveling seems to be a lot more critical than anything else.
Yeah.
with the sun.
The leveling's kind of a hassle.
I've had no trouble with the findings.
Yeah, so for leveling, I got this contraption, which helps a lot. So in terms of leveling, you don't have to constantly like look at it and level it that way. There's on the app, it tells you, there's an internal something.
Wow.
And it tells you if it's level. And you get these two green discs to kind of overlap at a certain level for it to be, so that you know it's level. It's really terrific for the moon also, but same little issue. I think it does struggle sometimes finding the moon. So the key I have found is don't start off pointing it at the moon. Find a couple of objects.
What really helps is to keep the software up to date
Yeah, there's a lot of updates, right?
also, because I had a hell of a time. I was doing great finding the sun, and then a month or so ago, I was having a hell of a time, and I hadn't updated the software.
Ah,
And I updated the software, and I guess with the new ephemeris or something, I don't know, but then I had no trouble.
okay. And is this the model you have also, the S50?
Yeah.
Okay. They also make something called an S30, which is lower power, so you get bigger swaths of the sky. Yeah.
I got one in the truck, you want me to get it?
I'd love to, yeah, bring it in so folks can see it. Thank you. That's great. It's not the brand new one, right? Not the Pro. That one's still.
Not the Pro one.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
on
know
a-
if that one's available.
It's
yet.
not yet, yeah. I was wondering if maybe you had an inside connection. But this, in terms of like what fits in it, the one problem here that you should know about is that the images are all like your cell phone. They're this direction. So Andromeda, and there's no way to move this around because it's, alt as. So Andromeda is chopped off. You can't fit Andromeda in it north.
Zoom out.
You can't zoom.
No.
Can't zoom. You're stuck with a fixed, right? So this is a fixed thing. So when it first was released, it's kind of like, oh, it's a bummer. Well, I'll take the core of Andromeda, or this part of NGC 7000, or things like that. Orion won't quite fit there either, although it's pretty close to filling the frame. But they made a couple of. That's right. So they created two important changes from the initial. One is mosaic mode. And mosaic mode is fantastic because it allows you to take a picture of this part of NGC 7000, this part of it, and this part of it, and it stitches it all together. I've not tried any mosaic yet. You have? And you've tried some mosaic? Yeah, so it's worked well? Oh,
No, I just had a question.
yeah.
So when it's on the equatorial, does it still do the camera, phone?
No, I think when you put it on
Like,
yeah, I think you can frame it, yeah, I think you can frame it differently when it's on equatorial.
And that has Wi-Fi on it?
Yeah, Bluetooth. Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, yeah.
It Wi-Fi connects to your.
So this is the 30, which is even less expensive.
$6.99 on Amazon.
$299?
$3.99.
$399.
And that's $5.75.
Yeah. But they're essentially they kind of do the same thing, right? Talk about your experience with it.
So you don't have to worry so much about leveling with this one. You can get it close, but I've seen that the planets and everything are a little more grainy. But even deep sky, the other night, I'm pretty well lit in my area, and within about 10 minutes the other night, I had the Veil Nebula like popped up really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it is also, there's a lot of noise, and they give you the AI denoise feature for the auto stacking. And then it takes sometimes, depending on how long you process, or how long you've taken your photos, it could take, 20 seconds to denoise it, and they turn out fairly clean. And then it seems like it tracks pretty good, like, my stars, I don't know how to, like, they still astigmatize a little bit when you zoom in. There's still a lot of pixelation when you start zooming in. So it's a really good wide field, more so than a close-up detailed.
Yeah, it has a wider field than the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's 2.5 and that's 1.25.
Yeah, and that's why I got that for, like you said, the same reason was it fits in this case.
You go to your outreach, yeah.
I took it to Michigan with me back in the summer, instead of.
So if you want to see it, you have to shoot it to a device.
100% yes. You cannot look through it.
Yeah, I can same, whether your tablet or I can pick it up on my phone, so it just depends on what.
But here's here's an example of, this is an image taken.
Resolution the same on each one?
So, I think the 50 is a better resolution. This is the
There we
wider
go.
field.
Well, sure, you get what you pay for.
They're coming out with an S30 Pro.
Yes.
That's better.
It's gonna have 2 different sensors.
I mean, that's pretty good for,
For your backyard fonts.
so, don't
Well,
have,
you've got more like 700 in it. with the-
So you
yeah,
put
I
the
do.
entire constellation through.
It also does landscape, so you can use it during the day. And my thought is like, this would be, I don't know, have you all been to Yellowstone before? Like, this would be the perfect thing when you're looking for wolves and you're kind of pulled off in the Lamar Valley and they're like, maybe they're over there or whatever. You'd set this up and you can sort of move it around. But it does a really nice job, I think, with landscape. Doesn't rival a camera, like a high-end camera with a telephoto, but that's pretty good, all in all. So you can sort of see those things. And just here's another one I took just the other night. I think this is M13. This one is M13, exactly. Yeah. So the other thing it does, company's really smart in how they put this sort of all together. Is there's a feature where you can, there's a feature where you can see everybody using Seestars, like near you. And so it'll show you like a picture of, Louisville or zoom out, Kentucky, and you can see all the people actively using them at a given time. And you can share your pictures with what people. So it's kind of fun, like if the night's clear in your region, you kind of see all these, like look at all the Seestar users, and you can see what people are imaging and what they've shared. And sometimes it's like, that gives you an idea of what you could take an image of. You grab your own.
How crucial is the dark sky to use that?
Like it always is, it's,
Much,
the darker the better, but it works in the city,
Absolutely.
right?
I'm below 6, 7.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So it is, I think it would be a wonderful thing to possibly add to the club's collection of scopes. We haven't really talked about buying one, but it might be,
how's the treasury doing?
well, it depends, if you're going to buy one of those telescopes, we can, yeah, we're fine on that. So I think for star clubs, we do see At least from going out to AstroCon, a lot of clubs have been buying one or two of these and using it so that members can just kind of stop by the club, get it, and go to their event, go to a school, go to church, go to wherever. Yeah, what's that?
Like a library.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. A couple of negatives about it. The stars are a little bloated on the pictures. It's a small refractor, so it has those kinds of issues. The new S30 Pro that's coming out, and then we have also heard from ZWO that there's going to be an update to this at some point. They're going to put better optics in it, and there's going to be maybe an S70. So you're starting to get out of these more budget range things to maybe a more serious instrument. I think one negative on these, and it's a negative and a positive, but if you're a family and you buy one of these for the family, and you're enjoying the night sky and taking it camping with you and whatever, that can be great, but it also can short circuit your learning of like where stuff is in the night sky. And I'm kind of guilty of that through my sort of astrophotography adventure. Back when I first started doing astronomy out in the Everglades when I was younger, had our red lights and our star maps, and we had to find stuff. It would take you forever to find it. Like, y'all remember those days? Some of you have been around a long time. And, there's something magical about that. It's still, well, that's right, it does. But it's something magical about finding the thing that you're looking for, and that process that I think gets lost. On the other hand, it makes it so accessible for people to jump into.
You don't have to be an expert, even in the telescope.
No, and young kids can really, an 8-year-old can handle something like this easy.
What kind of battery life do you get?
I get about 4 or 5 hours out of a full charge.
If I'm using the dew heater, I'm lucky to get 4,
If you're using the dew heater?
which I do every time.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I can get about 6, but yeah, about 4 with the dew heater.
Yeah.
Can you keep it powered? with
Yeah,
the power?
absolutely. So you take the USB-C and you go straight into your, brick, whatever you have for a brick. Like, I've even used a smaller brick and it doubles the,
Yeah, I've got a 20,000 milliamp, it's no bigger than a phone, and.
all night long, right?
Run 12 hours.
Yeah.
Or more, I've never run out of.
Yeah, so that's a $30, sort of,
Is the internal pack replaceable?
no.
No.
Yeah, you can't really get into it. Whatever's
Be
inside.
careful with those data banks, the power banks on airplanes now, because TSA won't let you put it in checked luggage.
Must not have caught me. 'Cause
That's new, that's brand new.
You can go and carry on though.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're afraid the lithium batteries don't explode.
well, what if it explodes in your
No,
carry-on?
you don't be there, but if it's in
If
the,
it's in my pocket and
But if
explodes,
it's
that's
in the
not
cargo,
too good either.
There instead of smoking.
you don't know it's a fire until you're on the ground.
Alright.
Drop and roll.
Scraping.
So, any other folks that have used smart telescopes, thinking about telescopes, say this is a terrible idea, I'll never buy one? Kind of any thoughts?
I used to think that, when I got one, they're amazing.
So how often do you use yours? Would you say? How often do you use your telescope?
Every week or two.
Every week?
No idea.
Yeah.
It's so easy, just take it out, plop it out.
If I'm
wipe it
home
out,
and
and
it's clear, it's out there.
Yeah.
Because it takes 3 minutes to set up, even in EQ mode, you're rolling. And you
Yeah.
go back in the house and sit on the couch and control it from right there, you don't have to be next to it. It's great.
I imagined
Where'd you get
It's
the
nice in the
tripod
way.
in that level?
Absolutely.
this little contraption here, which is just for a regular camera thing, was an Amazon purchase. I think $24.
And it's just called a camera level, or?
Yeah, I think so.
The tripod is,
The tripod from Skywatcher was $100.
looks pretty good.
It's it's a nice investment because it's super light. It's
Sturdy, yeah.
but sturdy, and it gets it off the ground, so you're not like leaning over. And when you have to rotate it, if you're trying to get the compass working, it does show you that you need to rotate it. You don't have to for deep sky stuff, but if you want to do solar, you have to kind of calibrate the compass and everything a little bit.
Well,
So
first time you use it, you have to calibrate all of it correctly, but yeah, after that, you don't have to every time you get it out.
it's true. It only asks me every so often. I guess it forgets every so often or gets uncalibrated.
And you can do it whenever
Hey.
you want.
Just check in that we were finishing up soon.
We are. Yep. How about 5 minutes? Thank you.
others, some people might want to wait and get the S30 Pro. This is gonna have 2 sensors. And the other sensor is going to have a 89-degree FOV, so you'll be able to do
Milky Way.
shots. You can do entire constellations. You can make the portfolio of all of the constellations in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, yeah, it's an amazing time, you know, for telescope manufacturers and what they're doing with the price points and all of that.
Everything is
I don't have.
increasing logarithmically.
I know, yep,
Everything.
yep. So, any other questions about it, or?
Have you seen anybody who's like built their own like little birdhouse enclosure or something where you can just pop it open at night and?
I've seen pictures of people who have permanently mounted it on like their like a pillar on their back porch, like, you know, done something like a pier for it.
Close it, they just walk out there and.
I think they put a cover over it and just kind of like cinch it like you would a grill.
I was even thinking of like you put like a little piece of glass right in front of it, and as it turns up and down, so you could literally just leave it out there open all the time.
When it closes and it stops, the telescope itself points itself down, and that's good for keeps the dust off the.
Like this one.
Yep. It points it. Yeah, it does that.
That one definitely needs a tripod upgrade if you're going to be, like I'll stick it on top of the truck or something, but if you bump the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and then, or it's the same thing, if you put it on the ground, you're always afraid you're gonna kick it or something, so you need to get it up on something, so it definitely needs a
Deck is
tripod.
Yep.
Deck is not a good thing either.
Nope. Deck will move, right?
Because they vibrate when you walk on them.
Yeah. The other thing is you're going to want to find is the biggest tablet you can, because that if you're going to use it and share images, you know, sharing it on it'll go to your phone.
Great recommendation that, not too expensive, it's made by Lenovo, it's called Chromebook Duo. It's like 14 inches, about that size, and has Chromebook, it runs Chrome and Android. And it's about $225.
Wow. Not terrible in the scheme of things at all.
And, it's got great graphics, and you can use it as a reader, because you get 2 pages. And you can also use it for music scores, Steve.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope I see you all on next Friday. So sorry about the projections and whatever. Bill had a bunch of pictures he sent me that he had taken with his. But if you just say ooh and ah, he could have the experience of you all.
They were just from out at Bryce.
We're not worried.
We were just gonna try to show what they look like.
Yeah.
I don't know how to turn off that phone, because I turn it on and I don't care anymore.